Hi middle schoolers, it's McKenna here from the Bookworm of Edwards, and I'm here to talk to you about 12 awesome books that we have picked out for your book fair this year. The first one is The Simple Art of Flying. This is perfect for all you animal lovers out there. It involves two parrots who are brother and sister. They grew up in a pet store, but they get adopted to different humans. And the brother does not like this very much, so he spends his time scheming away to reunite himself with his sister. It's full of heart, it's funny, it's so good. Definitely do not miss this one. Speaking of sibling stories, we've got another one here for you. This is Under Shifting Stars. This one I absolutely adore. It is about two sisters who have unfortunately had their brother die, and they're coping with it in very different ways. One is neurodivergent and so is at an atypical school, and she wants to go to school with her sister and be like every other kid. But her sister is struggling, where she thinks, or people think that she's the perfect daughter and the perfect popular girl, but really she doesn't feel all that perfect. So they're each struggling with their own life in their own way. There's a little bit of romance. There's so much family, heart, and love, and it's just so beautifully written. It's really great. Especially if you're a fan of like insignificant events in the life of a cactus, which we featured before, it's definitely a great one. One more sibling tale for you. This one definitely more like get a glass of water and hold on to your seat. 96 Miles, and is an amazing story about two brothers who live out in the desert, and all the power goes out in their town. And in order to survive, the townspeople start stealing all of this food and water that their father had stockpiled. The problem is their father is away on a business trip. So the older brother makes a decision that he is going to take his younger brother and they're going to walk 96 miles through the desert to find their dad. Now when I say this book will make you thirsty, not kidding. Definitely have some water nearby. For something a little bit different, if none of those have quite gelled with you yet, we have Invictus. And this is a book I love. This is a book about a boy who is born outside of time. Both of his parents were time travelers. And all he wants to do is be a time traveler, but he fails the entrance exam to become a time traveler, and he is devastated. But he's approached by a not so, right figure who says that he can give him a time ship if he captains it back in time to steal historical artifacts and bring them forward to sell. Whew. So fun, so great, especially if you want like a little bit of history but a lot of adventure and science fiction. This is a super great one. Now, not really into science fiction, but looking for like something more fantasy based, Artemis Fowl. This is a series they're bringing back. There's a movie on Disney Plus, but definitely read the book first because it is fantastic. It is about a young boy named Artemis Fowl who is very rich, and instead of using his riches to, buy cars or fancy jets, he uses his money to try and prove that fairies exist. And this person on the back there that you see is a fairy policewoman who is trying so desperately to make sure he does not get the proof that he's looking for. It's so great. It's a whole series, so if you like it, there's so much to read, and I love this book. Now for something kind of like that, but maybe a little more mythology, if you're a mythology fan, this one is fantastic. It's Tristan Strong, Punches a Hole in the Sky. And Tristan is a young boy whose best friend has died in a bus accident. And all he has left is the journal. And that his friend left him. And he's not doing too well with the news that everything has happened. So he ends up getting sent to a farm to kind of rest, relax, heal, and this little doll thing steals his friend's journal, and he chases him throughout the farm, and he can't find him. So he punches a tree, and the tree explodes and opens a portal to a mythological world where he and two other gods have to find Anansi, who is the big god, in order to fix the world. Super amazing, especially if you loved like Percy Jackson or other Rick Riordan books. This is amazing. None of those still aren't your thing? Okay, don't worry, I got you covered. Do you like ghosts? It is getting kind of close to fall. It's wonderful. Ghost stories. Whispering Pines. This is so fun. This is about a young girl who, she and her mother moved to a town that, is something's a little off. Kids keep going missing and coming back with their eyes removed. Super creepy. But she teams up with another boy who is actually the son of a ghost hunter, and has a secret that might play into what's happening in the town. And so they have to team up and solve the mystery of Whispering Pines together. Great if you love book like Small Spaces. Super creepy, ghost story, perfect for those scary story lovers. But I also know there's probably some graphic novel fans around in this room right now. So here's an amazing one, New Kid. This is a autobiographical sort of story by Jerry Craft about a young boy who just loves drawing and cartoons, and all he wants to do is go to an art school. But his parents don't send him to an art school. They send him to this really kind of entitled private school that he just doesn't really like the kids. He doesn't feel like he fits in. But he does find some friends and he starts to find his way. And that's the core of this story here. The illustrations are super bright and colorful. It's so fun. Definitely don't miss this one. And I have another one. I don't have the book because it is so amazing that we sold out in the store. So I don't have to show you. But it is Be Prepared. And it is the story of a young Russian-American immigrant who is trying to connect with her culture. And she talks her parents into sending her to this Russian summer camp. But not all it's cracked up to be. She doesn't really realize that like being outside means that there's going to be like bugs. And that she has to like go to the bathroom and not a bathroom, and she has to sleep on the ground. She's not at all excited about it. But this is the story of her enduring that summer camp and finding her way. Again, a beautiful, awesome graphic novel. Super funny, lots of good jokes. Definitely one to keep an eye out for. And one more graphic novel for you. This one, nonfiction. This is Becoming RBG. And this is a graphic novel biography of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. As you can see, there's some really fun duotone drawings in here. And this is her story from, being a very young girl all the way through becoming the Justice of the Supreme Court. And I know that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you've probably seen, has died recently, so this is a great one if you're just interested in her life, interested in her impact on our modern day society, and just kind of wanting to know more about her. She's an amazing figure to get to know. And speaking of amazing figures that we all should know about, we have Radium Girls. Radium Girls is the true story of a group of women watchmakers who, in the early 20th century, so like the early 1900s, were responsible for making watches. And at that time, they had to use radioactive materials to make the watches work and glow. The only problem here is that it made the women themselves glow in the dark, which is crazy. And this is the true story of that. There's amazing pictures of the women themselves. There's biographies. There's notes. This is such a fun story for this time of year, and it's an amazing part of history that you probably don't know. And the last one I also don't have for you, but it is Resistance, and it is by Jennifer Nielsen. If you've read her previous books, A Night Divided, this is another great one, especially if you're a fan of history. It is a fiction tale, but it is inspired by a real group of kids who infiltrated the group called Hitler's Children in World War II because they looked German, but they were actually Jewish kids. And so these kids infiltrated his group and spied for the resistance against the Nazis. It is a super amazing story. Wonderful if you like history, but you want a little more action. Excellent. And those are all the books I have for you today. I really hope to see you guys in the store soon. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and have a great rest of your day.